The Superman Incident. As a kid, I was convinced I could fly like Superman. Armed with a red towel as my cape, I climbed onto the garage roof while my brother cheered me on. After a dramatic Superman pose, I leaped off, expecting to soar. Instead, I landed face first into Mom's prized rose bush. My dad had to untangle me while my brother couldn't stop laughing. For weeks, I had scratches on my face and a bruised ego. When Mom saw the ruined bush, I tried to explain it was for justice. She wasn't impressed. From then on, my nickname in the neighborhood was Crashman. To this day, every family gathering includes someone asking if I've perfected flying yet, much to my embarrassment. Lesson learned. Towels don't make you a superhero. Gravity always wins. The Spelling Bee Disaster. In 5th grade, I made it to the school spelling bee finals. My parents were so proud and I felt like a genius. My word was night. Confidently, I stepped up to the microphone and started N-I-T-E. The crowd gasped. The teacher gently asked, "Are you sure?" Panicking, I doubled down. Night-E! Night! The laughter was deafening. My best friend in the audience mimed a facepalm, and my mom buried her face in her hands. Turns out I had been reading too many comic books with simplified spelling. Afterward, I tried to argue that night was technically correct in casual use, but no one was buying it. From that day on, my friends called me the Knight of Bad Spelling. I haven't lived it down, even decades later. The hair gel fiasco. When I was 13, I was obsessed with impressing a girl in my class. One morning, I decided to try hair gel for the first time to achieve the cool guy look. I didn't read the instructions and used half the bottle, thinking the shinier, the better. My hair turned into a rock-hard helmet. At school, the girl looked at me and asked, "Did you dip your head in oil?" I panicked and tried to rinse it out in the bathroom sink, only to make things worse. By lunchtime, my nickname was Grease Lightning. My buddies wouldn't stop singing, "You're the one that I want." I spent the rest of the day hiding in the library, vowing never to touch hair products again. Needless to say, the girl didn't fall for my slick look. The science fair explosion. In 7th grade, I attempted a volcano project for the science fair. Instead of the classic baking soda and vinegar, I decided to use cooler ingredients I found in my dad's workshop. I didn't know what I was mixing, but when I tested it at school, the volcano erupted with such force it sprayed foam all over the room, including my teacher. Her once white blouse turned neon yellow. The entire class burst out laughing, and I was instantly sent to the principal's office. My mom had to come to school to explain that my experiment wasn't sabotage. The teacher gave me an F, and my dad banned me from his tool shed. To this day, my friends bring up Mount Disaster whenever they see me near anything scientific. The Pantsing Incident. Middle school gym class was a battlefield, and one fateful day, I became the ultimate victim. We were playing dodgeball, and I was feeling invincible. Out of nowhere, my best friend thought it'd be hilarious to yank down my sweatpants mid-throw. To my horror, I had worn my cartoon superhero underwear that day. The gym erupted in laughter as I scrambled to pull up my pants. The coach yelled at everyone to settle down, but it was too late. The damage was done. For weeks, guys in my class called me Captain Underpants, and I avoided dodgeball like the plague. My so-called friend apologized later, but he never let me forget it. The experience taught me 2 lessons. Never wear funny underwear on gym day, and always tie your drawstrings tight. The date with mom. In 8th grade, I was desperate to impress the girl I had a massive crush on. When she mentioned going to the movies that weekend, I thought it was my chance. I convinced my mom to drop me off at the theater, but she insisted on staying to keep an eye on things. She sat 3 rows behind us, and I prayed she'd stay invisible. Halfway through the movie, my mom waved at me with a big grin, holding up a giant popcorn bucket. The girl turned to me and asked, "Is that your mom?" I wanted to melt into my seat. The worst part? My mom told the girl how cute I looked as a baby on the way out. Needless to say, there was no second date. The Squirrel Incident. One summer, I decided to rescue a baby squirrel I found near a tree in our yard. Convinced I'd become its hero, I built a makeshift cage out of a shoebox and started feeding it peanut butter crackers. Things went south when the squirrel decided it didn't want to be saved. It escaped and chased me around the yard while I screamed for my dad. When he finally caught it with a towel, he couldn't stop laughing at my heroic efforts. I earned the nickname Squirrel Whisperer for months. Every family gathering after that included someone asking how my squirrel rescue program was going. Looking back, I probably deserved the ridicule, but at least I learned one thing. Wild animals don't want peanut butter crackers, or me as their savior. The slip and slide fail. At a neighborhood barbecue, the main attraction was a massive homemade slip and slide. Everyone was doing cool runs, and I wanted to show off. I took a running leap, but instead of gliding, I hit the tarp at the wrong angle, causing me to somersault and land face first in the mud. To make matters worse, my swim trunks didn't survive the tumble and slid halfway off. As I scrambled to fix them, everyone, including the girl I liked, was doubled over laughing. My dad tried to console me, but even he couldn't keep a straight face. The barbecue became legendary, and my less than graceful slip and slide attempt was the highlight. For years, every time I saw a slip and slide, I'd hear someone say, "Ready for round two?" The barbershop mishap. The barbershop Misha at 10, I decided I was too cool for my usual barber and begged my dad to let me cut my own hair. He reluctantly handed me the clippers, warning me to be careful. Within minutes, I had shaved a crooked strip down the middle of my head. Panicking, I tried to even it out, but it only got worse. My dad walked in, took one look and said, "We're going full buzz cut." At school the next day, my friends nicknamed me Mr. Clean. For weeks, I endured jokes about my DIY haircut and constant head pats from my buddies. From then on, I stuck with the professionals. Every time I visit a barbershop now, my dad loves reminding everyone of my failed attempt to become a hairdresser.